What is going on, everybody? It is me, Brian Parker, with Head to Head in the Empower TV network. Just welcoming everybody before we get started on the show. Should have a nice show today starting around 6:05. We'll have our 5-minute countdown at 6 o'clock just to give everybody a chance to jump on. But as usual, I like to get on just a little bit early. And just let everybody know that we will be live streaming on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And then this show actually does appear on our Roku channel the following day, starting at 11 a.m. And then we'll broadcast all weekend long, in addition to being part of our on-demand content. So if you haven't added Empower TV and you have a Roku device, please definitely do that. All you have to do is search for a channel, go to Empower, search for N, the letter N, the word power, all one word, and add that as your channel. In addition to our head-to-head news show, you'll also get head-to-head sports and a lot of other content that we have from different providers, whether it's podcast, web series, comedy specials, music videos, things of that nature. You can find all of those things on our Roku channel. Our video on demand gives you the ability to binge watch specific shows if you can't catch them at the certain times that they air on the live stream. So very, very good option. If you are a content provider, or if you're someone that has a good or service that you provide and you would like more people to know about it, reach out to us. We can help you advertise that and get that out to even more people. I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but Roku is one of the fastest growing channels out there, primarily because it gives folks a different option from cable and the higher cost of cable. More and more people are going to cutting the cord and using streams such as Roku, Amazon Fire, Google TV, and things like that to still get their favorite channels, but then also have a say in some of the other channels that they can add to their stream as well, without having 500 other channels that you never ever watch a day in your life. But you pay for it regardless. But what we do at Head to Head, we bring it on every Thursday, 6 p.m. We've been doing it for well over a year now. And normally the conversations can get pretty choppy. So, you know, if you're a little faint at heart, might not be the thing for you, but I'd still encourage you to watch. We have been live streaming for a while now, so that does give us more of the ability to interact with our audience. So it's not recorded, it's actually live if you watch us live, which we really, really like doing. So we will continue to do that. We appreciate everyone that does tune in and taking the time out. Please participate. We do see your comments, and we would love to be able to respond to them in real time. If you ever feel like you want to join the show, feel free. Agreement is not required. The only thing that I'll ever say is no conspiracy theories, and bring some facts to back up whatever it is that you're saying. But we would love to have you. If you're interested in that, please let us know, and we will certainly send you a link and you can join the show live. So you don't have to have a political science degree or anything like that. If you're a real person, you've been around, you didn't pay taxes, you are more than qualified to be a guest on the show. Well, with that said, we're going to go to our 5-minute countdown, and we'll see you guys on the other side.
This a ticket talking Mazda for the figures. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And this a ticket talking Mazda for the figures. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it. And this a ticket talking Mazda for the figures. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. It's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. Talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it.
And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. I'm a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, and it's a ticket.
All right, let's get ready to rumble. I'm ready today. Welcome to another episode of Head to Head with Brian Parker. I am he. And we are back for another week. I've got my great panel about to come up in just a second. But want to thank everybody for tuning in again this week. We are streaming live on Facebook, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. One day, Instagram, I'm coming for you. Or I guess now Meta, Mark Zuckerberg, whatever you want to call it now. But we are streaming live, and we invite everyone to reach out to us in our live chat, and we will read your comments live on the air. If you feel froggy and you want to leap on and bring up a topic or discuss something with the panel, please feel free, and we'll DM you the link as well. If you are a content provider and you would like for us to be able to spread the news about any product, goods, or services, or even an event that you're having, please reach out to us and we will certainly do that. As always, we bring to you one of those sponsors of ours, our friends at Plumbers, Electricians, and Beyond. So we will have our panel on the other side of this. All right, we are back, and look at all this family. What's going on, family?
What's good? Good.
All right, looks like we got Miss Lori Parker. How you doing, Lori?
Doing well, doing well.
Okay, all right, doing well. Of course you are. Mr. CJ Jones, how about him? How you doing?
Hey, how about him? How about him, man? Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Mr. Knicks fan, Mr. Brad Collin, how you doing, sir?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm doing good. How are you?
Man, it's beautiful. Nothing could be finer than in Carolina, unless you're talking about the Panthers. But if you are talking about the Hornets, we are talking about 4-1. How about that? How's it going, Mr. Franchise?
Hey, man, I'm doing good. I brought documentation showing how Republicans are trying to steal the next election and everything. Me and Rudy Giuliani have been working closely together and stuff. It's all here. It's all here.
Okay, well, you know, I kind of figured that's what you may have because I saw some hair dye come running a little bit down the side of your face. So all I need you to do is broadcast that next time beside a landscaping company that sounds like it could be right next to a strip club. So
that's right.
It needs to be right on.
I'm good, man.
So you got all your documentation?
Yeah, it's all facts. I'm not going to use any facts today, though. No facts today. Just feelings.
Oh, no, okay. You just have them by you, but you're not
just have them by me just in case I run out of feelings.
Okay.
Oh,
well, we had a very spirited show last week because I brought up Colin Powell and his passing and stuff like that, and Jermaine just kind of went all in as he does in his he's going in segment, and he went in like we expected him to. So I'm sure we'll have.
I'd like to retract a lot of that because I was just trying to get ratings and stuff, and I was creating controversy. He's a good dude.
Too late.
Well, I don't know if you got ratings or not, but now your mother is afraid for you to say anything at her funeral. That's the only thing I gleaned from last week.
And that is a fact, Jack.
She said, please make sure he don't come.
I love you, Mama.
I said, wow. She says, yeah, I don't know what he's going to say about me. I said, well, if you tell the truth, that's probably going to be embarrassing enough. But
and another one.
Oh man, yeah, we had a good time.
Another one.
We had a good time, and last week, did we, Lori? Were we remote last week? Yeah, we were remote in Greensboro last week, and now we're back home in studio. But this past Sunday, I actually made a trip down to Georgia and got to go to Tyler Perry Studios and get fitted and be part of the new Emmett Till movie that Whoopi Goldberg is producing. And they needed me.
You?
Say that again.
What?
Wait, what?
Which dead Negro are you?
Well, you know what? That is the craziest thing. So I didn't have to play that. Well, I guess if it's a 1950s piece, a lot of them are dead Negroes. But I actually got to be a photo double for John Carthen, who was Emmett Till's grandfather, who is currently being played by Frankie Faison. If you're not familiar with him, just watch Coming to America, and he was the slumlord that moved his apartment from Simi and Prince Akeem.
Right.
So, and he's been in plenty of other things too, but I always think about him in Coming to America. So I got to play his body double, and then I was in a car with Mamie's Till's body double and Medgar Evers' body double, and we were on the way to court down a country road outside of Atlanta, around a bunch of cotton fields and everything. So they really made it look like it was Mississippi all over again. It was very, very
surreal.
Yeah. You know, CJ, it was from the standpoint of 1 minute I'm in Atlanta and everything is 2021. And literally you can go about 40 miles outside of Atlanta, and they didn't really have to do much to make it look like it was 1950s Mississippi.
Kind of make you wonder, don't it?
That was the surreal part. And yeah, the further you get away from Atlanta, the more Confederate flags you see, the more, it just looks like you're taking a step back in time.
Real life.
And the things that we wore, my outfit and stuff like that was more, it was period piece. And a lot of the other background folks that were there, you did see people in overalls and things like that looked like they were out in those fields and stuff. And I joked with a lot of them. I said, y'all know we got to wrap before sundown. You can have me all day long. We can get started at 8 o'clock in the morning. But when that sun down, we got to get the hell up out of here. Especially the way some of them was dressed. They may think that someone was trying to run. So, I'm glad I didn't have to wear that attire. I actually had a dress shirt and a suit coat on and all that kind of stuff. So, but I sent y'all a picture of the cars that we were riding in. They had, I was in a 1950 Ford Crestline.
Yeah, that was nice. That thing was
nice. He actually changed the gears on the driver. Yeah, that was really nice.
Three on the tree.
Yeah, they had a Dodge Ram out there. It was a truck, a lot of different cars out there that half the folks watching this probably wouldn't even know what it was they were looking at. But really, really interesting in that way. What made me really think about that too was the fact that in this time and age, they're trying to recreate this film because, a lot of people don't know the whole Emmett Till story. But that is a gruesome, gruesome story that they're remaking at this time. And I don't know how far they're going to go with everything, because if people know, once Emmett was actually lynched and mutilated, his mom made a decision that she was going to have an open casket.
Gangster.
Yes.
And
she did that purposely.
To get that shock value. So I don't know where the director and Whoopi and them are going with how much they're going to show, but I'm sure that they're not going to hold back too much, and that I think that's going to kind of be a good thing to kind of waken some people up. I know everybody talks about woke culture, but in this day and age, as much history is trying to be whitewashed and revised and stuff, being able to put something out like that right now, I think is pretty important. And I know a lot of folks are afraid that their kids going to learn how jacked up America is and has been. But it is something that needs to continue to be pushed out there.
But that's where you step in as a parent or whatever your authoritation is over that young child or that influential person, and you begin to teach them through it. Um, whenever I let my children watch it, and it wasn't without guidance, and they're fine. They don't they not looking to go beat down some white people or go hunt them down or whatnot. They cried, I cried. It was a very emotional time. It's an extremely hard to watch, but the truth has to be told. It has to be put out there, but also be ready on the other end to be ready to educate and let them know, hey, in some areas we could still to this day in 2021 still end up being in a situation like that if you're not careful of being aware of these sundown towns and stuff like that. It's still around. These areas still exist.
You know what?
Yeah.
He's absolutely right about being in trouble and stuff, because I whistled at a white woman the other day and my wife almost killed me. Hey, quick question.
You too?
Oh my God.
It wasn't just me.
God.
Tyler Perry Studios is in Atlanta, right?
It is.
Is that because Atlanta is known for having tall men in dresses, and that's where he felt most comfortable? I just want to put
Wow.
No.
We doing this already.
No.
We doing this already. Right, B? Right?
I didn't know.
God.
It was on my mind.
You already doing this already. Normally you wait towards the end. Wait.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm not going in. I'm playful today. I feel playful.
Oh, okay. You playing around the edges, but I thought you were about to go in.
No. No.
I tried to bring the seriousness.
I'm all for men wearing dresses. I'm all for
Oh, yeah?
it. Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's anywhere near the underground in Atlanta. That's for sure.
Yeah.
It's
y'all not gonna Dave Chappelle me. I love them.
It's actually not far from College Park in that area, but so that's more South Atlanta, south of downtown, closer to Hartsfield Airport.
Hey, did you see Whoopi?
I did not. Okay. I did not see Whoopi, but it was very interesting. When you get onto that sound stage, he converted an old military base, I believe is what it was.
Yep.
And he's added 12 sound stages, and he named them for different people. I can't remember them all, but I know one was for Sidney Poitier. I know one was Halle Berry. I know one was Harry Belafonte. Sammy Davis, I think, was one. He just named them different people. So that was really interesting. They were huge. Then the wardrobe department was another area. Then it looks like he had actual houses there for, I guess, certain actors that may be there as well. So it's just a huge area. It was just very interesting to be able to say, hey, I actually made it to TPS. Hopefully they'll call me back for some other stuff, like maybe Oval Sisters. I'm trying to get on something like that. But it was very interesting. Why are you shaking your head? You don't want sisters? You scared I'm gonna be on show with one of them sisters and that's it?
You can be on Sisters. I didn't particularly care for it. I know you trying to get on the Oval and get with that foolishness. That's your show.
I'm okay with either or bruh. Oval Sisters, Assisted Living.
Anything. Yeah, if you could make Assisted Living funny, that would be awesome.
They're bringing back what was the show? They're bringing back the what was the football show? The Game. They're bringing back the Game. Yeah, Kelsey Grammer is actually helping produce The Game.
Wow.
And they're also on set down there doing Black Panther 2. Whatever the name of it is going to be. I guess it's Wakanda Forever is the official title or something, but they're filming it there on site too. So They're doing a lot of stuff. They used to do Black Lightning there. I think they do Stargirl there. They do
Black
24
Lightning was cool.
some of the
I
other
liked
shows
it.
like that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's been staying busy with his set. You know, he has the full White House there for the Oval and everything too. So I just need him to do something with the wig department. That's all. If you bring me that, Tyler, I'll wear a wig, but it got to be tight and it got to be right. That's all I'm
Well, maybe we, now that has his own studio, a little bit more money, he can now invest in people that actually make wigs, because they have a whole bunch of YouTube videos about it, but you get better quality people to get better wigs.
Wow.
Let's hope so before me and Jermaine get over there and we have to, do something with this. But yeah, so
no.
But CJ, you brought up something that was important to me is you talked about educating your kids. Well, it kind of seems like right now folks are really, really afraid of what their kids are going to school to learn. Apparently, we teach critical race theory in schools, and they're worried about their kids being taught that all white people are bad and they should feel upset about being white.
That's coming from their guilt. Ain't none of that stuff being taught. And it damn sure ain't being taught in grade school. Where the hell are they getting their information from?
Well, they're not, man. And so there's like a lot of
I can show you, but I'd have to turn around and bend over.
Yeah, what's happening is that there are a lot of people out there, and it's distraction stuff too. And it's in what you saw with President Obama when he ran on hope. It's hard to inspire people. It's easy to anger and make people afraid of stuff. And so what Republicans have done is they tapped into that. Somewhere around 2016, they got really good at it. Where they would, whether it was migrant immigrants coming in from the South or whatever stuff, they do fearful tactics to distract from the fact that they're not doing anything to help common people or move or govern the country and stuff. And they're just doing things to keep the rich empowered. So they do these tactics like critical race theory isn't really an issue because no one's taught it. So they made it an issue. The bad thing is that Democrats are just horrible at pushing back on these imaginary issues and stuff and going, what are you talking about? Prove it to me. Because it's all theater. Congress has become theater and stuff. And so they push out these insane things and they just keep talking about them. But to your point, it's not being taught in elementary school. It's not being taught in high school. That's usually taught to law students. And to my brother's point, what are you afraid of, teaching history? Because it's not the critical race thing is just is a number, but they're just teaching history. And if you're afraid of your history, then you should probably do something in the present to address it and then move forward.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that you remember when Obama was really pushing Obamacare, and I'll go back to the whole critical race theory, but it was funny when you were talking about fear.
Yeah.
When they were talking about the ACA coming out and everything like that,
One
thing that you kept hearing was death panels over and over, death panels. And fear is about repetition, right? Because what you're trying to do is get it in somebody's head and get them to absorb it. And then they go out and they repeat the same thing. Oh, they're going to sit there and put bureaucracy in between you and your doctor, and they're going to be death panels to decide whether you live or die. Whatever happened to those death panels? What happened to them?
Those people then got on and liked it and felt it was happy. They got up after that and decided, it's working for them. So the death panels went away or never appeared.
Well, because it's all fiction and lies, and it all goes away. It's just to rile people up, and that's what they use to get people out of their homes to go vote. Because they're doing this and they're doing that, and so Americans have been brainwashed in this whole thing that being rich and being prosperous means that you worked hard and stuff like that. Not that somebody handed you money or that you use systems that were put in place to disparage other people to get your wealth. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about that in our economics and our criminal justice and our banking and stuff like that. We don't talk about that. And we view poor people as being lazy and being less than and not trying as hard and not people who are, again, victims. And I know you'll use that word later on in our discussions, but they're not victims of these systems that are in place and stuff. And so when somebody makes $1 billion, we go, oh yeah, yay for that guy. And they're like, we want to make sure that the rich people stay rich because they can help us out. When we could do common sense things to raise minimum wage, universal health care, to put people on even footing, and they would have security and stuff. Part of Maslow's hierarchy of needs and stuff, they get that bottom rung of needs taken care of. But the idea is that they always take something away from those needs, because when you're not dealing with your first tier needs, you can't be focused on higher things like what is Jeff Bezos doing with all that money, and why do we live in a country that allows one man to accumulate that kind of wealth?
Right. Well, it's kind of funny to me because it almost seems like it's how you say somebody's speaking out of both sides of their mouth. They say, I think the system is constructed in a way where you basically create a system where most of the people are in that poverty. Most of the people are living paycheck to paycheck and things like that. And then when they want to reach out for aid, to your point, they're lazy, or they just want a handout. And then when they do get some kind of assistance, now we're talking about socialism. Now we're talking about social inequality, and you're trying to take from the rich and everything else. Well, you're creating it where those folks that get rich, the people that work for Jeff Bezos, have to work 2 or 3 jobs just to get by.
Correct.
But you don't see that the solution really is that folks like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and those kind of folks aren't being properly taxed. So you're creating that environment, and then when those people that do have those needs reach out for those needs, now you're trying to vilify them and call them lazy and this and that and the other, and they're trying to take away from those that have made it and done well for themselves and everything else. But those people did well for themselves off the backs of those people.
Right. Basically, they just adjusting the narrative to fit their situation, to always put themselves in a better light.
Well, what they're doing is that they're just trying to basically say, this is your lane. You need to stay in your lane and mind your business.
What say you, Brad?
Well, yeah, I mean, in regards to that, I don't want to paint rich people as evil, right?
No, they're not evil.
I don't necessarily want to paint them as evil. I mean, if they were successful, if they had a vision and they brought it to fruition and they're eating the fruits from it, then more power to them. I have nothing against that. Right. But at the same time, and I understand the devil's advocate argument that, he may not pay taxes, but he employs millions of people who all pay taxes. I get that. But he also, and others like him, should pay their fair share in terms of taxes. I mean, in terms of the tax rate, when you go back to the 1940s and 1950s and you look at the tax rate of what companies and owners and what the corporate tax rate was compared to what it is now, it's a joke. It's nothing. And they're getting away with murder. I mean, absolute murder. And that takes away from us having the ability to do infrastructure and things like that, and Wi-Fi throughout the entire country, and fast trains that every other country seems to have, every other developed country seems to have, except us. So, but I don't want to paint them as evil. Like Donald Trump says, I'm not wrong. I'm just living within the laws that exist. I'm skirting everything.
Well, and I think that what we normally call that, Brad, is don't hate the player, hate the game.
Well,
yeah,
I'm just saying.
Sorry, my sister was gonna get the phone. So I'm sorry about that, y'all. Hello. I don't know why I have assistants.
Hello. Yeah.
Oh Lord. All right. Anyway.
Yeah, that was me.
All right.
That's a mouse, Brian. That's a mouse.
Thought you were gonna get that.
Yeah.
She's just looking at me. Okay.
Oh my God.
But yeah. So yeah, I don't want to. Yeah, I'm not hating the player because if somebody says, "Hey, we're going to make it a way where you can continue to make your wealth just grow and grow and grow," and you're not going to be taxed on the amount of your wealth because it's not a salary. See, it's easy for them to tax us because we make a salary and they tax you based off your salary. When somebody like a Jeff Bezos comes into the picture, he does not have an annual salary. A lot of his wealth is based on his accumulated wealth. And that has always been the problem is that you can keep increasing the tax rate all you want to, but those at the very, very top aren't going to be affected by it at all. I think Jeff Bezos reports about 80 something $1,000 a year in salary.
Well, because
the rest of his wealth is in.
I mean, I own a company too, right? I own my real estate company. And I'll tell you right now, it's not impossible to year to year evaluate in tax based on the income report and stuff. I know because I pay child support, and the state of North Carolina will go right in there because, and that's the thing, when you so I do a real estate deal and I get a check and stuff. I don't get a check, my company gets a check. I get paid from the company. That's the company's money.
Right.
And so that's what Jeff Bezos does. He's like, well, hey, I'm not, does the company give me a credit card that I get to use however I want? Sure. But that's not my money. That's the company. That's just a perk of being the CEO of the company. And so the thing about hating the player versus hating the game, the players made the rules for the game. So if you can't get away from hating a little bit on the players because they spent more money avoiding trying to pay taxes than if they probably had just paid taxes by whining and dining our legislators who write the laws so that they can write off a private jet, but a teacher can't write off more than $200 in school supplies. Right. And they also, like I say, both sides of the mouth, they know what money is. When they said, hey, we're going to tax the rich, and we're going to start that at what, 450,000 or somewhere around there, and they said, no, that's those people are not rich. I say, okay, well, we're going to take people that make $60,000 and we're going to give them, that's too much. Whoa, they make too much money. Okay, you make too much money at $6,000 to receive aid, but you don't make enough $400,000 to be taxed. They know what they're doing. And so I do hate on rich people because, again, poor people didn't make these rules.
Right.
It's like marriage. No man came up with the rules for marriage.
Yeah, you know what?
There you go.
Yeah, you're right. I kind of got to revise that a little bit. You are right, Jermaine, from the standpoint that rich people aren't necessarily evil, but who is it that's keeping political folks from enacting laws of fairness? Who is hiring lobbyists to go up to Capitol Hill to keep these people swallowing their tongues basically to vote what they should vote for their constituents? The majority of your constituents are those people that they're not even addressing. Kirsten Sinema. The majority of their constituents are the folks that they're not listening to, Joe Manchin. They're listening to their owner donors. Well, your owner donors are not the folks making $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 a year. They're not donating endless amounts of money to your campaigns and things like that. They're listening to the people that line their pockets.
So you mean Joe Manchin was not sincere when he said that he doesn't think we should be targeting people? You don't think he was sincere?
Hell no.
I think he was. I think he was.
He want to target people, all right.
That was the pronoun, white people. I don't think we should be targeting white people.
Well, there are no billionaires in his state, so no billionaires.
Shouldn't he be one? He's a millionaire. How about that? But he should be taxed because he's a millionaire based on all of his businesses. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to say all of that. They talk all the time about just bring up clean coal or carbon taxes and things like that, and then they say to the side, we ain't never gonna do that, right? And it's like a political stunt. Yeah, I'll say all of that, but I mean,
But that's the game, though.
Yeah, here's the thing.
That is the game.
When Donald Trump and the Republicans passed that $1 trillion tax cut, Joe Manchin was hooting and hollering about how terrible that was. that we sat there and took the tax rate from the 30s all the way down to 21%. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Now all we say is, hey, Joe, we want to take the tax rate back up a little bit to offset some of this stuff for your constituents that got coal all over their face. You good with that? Now that his vote would actually count. See, it's easy when you're in the minority because you can just blame it on the majority. Now you're in the majority, and now your vote means something. He's so afraid now that if he's that 50th vote, and now he goes against his owner donors, see, now they can primary somebody against him. Right. He know that he's the only Democrat in West Virginia that can win that seat. If you try to primary Joe Manchin with another Democrat, a Republican gonna win. Well, another true Republican.
I don't necessarily believe that.
You don't think so? You think there's another Democrat in West Virginia that could beat Joe Manchin?
Probably. I bet if you went and cut a tree down, whoever fucking fell out of the top of it could beat him. Because
but could they run as a Democrat?
I think they could.
I don't know about that, Jay.
So what makes him? So again, look at him. What makes him special? That he lies? He doesn't lie well. You're not telling me that
he lies good enough to be a conservative.
No, but what he does probably better than what most Democrats. Well, I ain't gonna say most Democrats because corporate Democrats do it all the time. He straddles the line, right? It's like if you push him one way, he's a Democrat, and you push him another way, he's a damn Republican.
I believe, and if you look at the support for the Build Back Better from West Virginia, and as you mentioned earlier, he's not listening to his constituents, right? Right. So there are some things like healthcare. Everybody, regardless of race, we all want to be safe. We want our families to be taken care of. We want to have decent pay for the work that we do. You know, there's some universal things out there. I think a lot of things, the message that Democrats don't really spin is that universal message of we just all want some of the same things, and here we're going to give it to everybody. I think that there could be a conservative Democrat within the state, and you can't tell me there's not one in there. If they're in West Virginia, I know that they tiptoe both sides of the line.
Right.
There could be a conservative Democrat within the state who could primary him. What happens is that people get lazy and complacent, and so that's what you're fighting against. Is that Joe Manchin is a brand name in West Virginia, not so much that he's good for anything.
But I guess, Jermaine, if you're going to replace Joe Manchin with another Joe Manchin, then what's the benefit of it?
Well, I like to think that Joe Manchin is just one off to himself. Number one, and then number two, I think if you actually got not who Joe Manchin says not who Joe Manchin is, but who he says he is as a conservative Democrat, I think if you replace him with an actual conservative Democrat, is he gonna go with every bill proposed by Democrats? No, but when there's things that they need to unify for, I think a real conservative Democrat out of that state will be able to explain to his constituents the importance of their bills, the importance of the votes, and be able to still carry the state. I just do.
You're giving the folks in West Virginia a lot of credit, brother. You're giving them a lot of credit.
So here's the thing. I talk a lot of junk, right?
Amen.
I'll be going in. But underneath it all, I'm a teddy bear, and this teddy bear happens to know that the people of West Virginia aren't different from anybody else, just like around the state, around the country. People want those things. They want to be safe. They want their kids to go to good schools. They want to have education that affords them the ability to take care of themselves. People want
they want all of those things. They do. Everybody, we all want the same things, but it's called falling for the okie doke, right? Yeah. Right, like everybody in the Northeast, everybody read Trump's bullshit a mile away, and it is what it is. It's been bullshit for years, and everybody knew it. But the folks in West Virginia or South Dakota or wherever,
Alabama,
North Carolina,
that whole red belt, they thought,
just say you have to include North Carolina in there, Brad.
He's such a great, smart, critical thinking millionaire. Oh, isn't it? So he built his company from the ground, and everybody else is saying, "What? This guy? This dumb fuck right here?" Excuse my language. I didn't start it. Y'all started it.
Oh boy, here we go.
It glorifies not yet. It's coming. You got another topic coming on. But they glorify rich people and they say, hey, if he's got this, and that's why he would never tell people how much money he really had, because he wanted to project the image, because he knows how people react to name.
You know he ain't shit.
Nothing else. He understands name. He made his name a brand, even if it wasn't about anything.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
And so he understands branding, and that's what happens in a lot of elections, right? It's just about branding and stuff.
Right.
Who you gonna choose? You gonna choose that guy you don't know? Or you gonna choose me? I'm the guy you know. I would like to announce that I'm probably gonna run for some kind of office. You guys in the comments can tell me which one. Dog catcher is acceptable too. But no, really, you got to have people in the political game who can come in and make common sense arguments. That's why I like AOC so much, because and that's why the Republicans hate her so much, is because she is grounded, and you see their attitudes towards average people. They go, "Well, she's just a waitress." Yeah, she got a bachelor's degree. She's worked in political campaigns before and offices and stuff. You know, she's not new to the situation and stuff, and so they don't like young, smart Latino woman. Yeah, I understand. You know what? I don't even know what district it's in, but I'd be willing to buy a house there just to take down Madison and stuff. And I don't care if you're crippled. I beat up on crippled people too.
Yeah, you roll his ass out of there.
Yeah, because I'm a real veteran.
Please. And especially this weekend, I know on Tuesday here in North Carolina, we do have a chance. I know here in Cabarrus County to go vote. So
is Cawthorn running or no?
No, he's not on his ballot.
Okay.
No.
He's not up.
But he carries knives in his wheelchair, and he's always, about to attack people. So
I'm not even laughing at that, bro. I'm not.
He does.
I mean, just put some rocks in front of his wheels. Just put some rocks in front of his wheels.
Y'all need to stop. That's not.
See if he can negotiate.
See, y'all getting into Dave Chappelle territory now. Y'all crossing.
Babe, man,
that's paraplegic friend of mine.
That's my big brother right there.
But in terms of Joe Manchin, I would hands off Joe Manchin. I would hands off, let it be what it is, and go find other seats that are able to take over.
I said this last week, and I really think the Democrats should primary him with a Republican. I think they should donate to whatever Republican runs against.
Yeah, I said that last week too. I think so too. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that. If you want to, give your ultimate FU, because he's not going to ever be a reliable vote.
Right.
He will be a vote sometimes, but he seems to be a better vote when you don't really need him.
Right.
Because when he knows that his vote is a make or break, and he looks around his state and he sees bridges falling, he sees poverty, and he sees all those things, and he knows he has a deciding vote.
See none of that.
Wait! Isn't West Virginia like a wealthy state?
Let him tell it. It is for him. He on coal company.
Maybe in his neighborhood, absolutely, but not in his gated parts of West Virginia, absolutely
where he docks his yacht when he's not in DC, maybe so.
Yeah.
Brad, but go ahead, Jermaine. I'm sorry.
I was saying, Brad, you know why I like West Virginia?
Because
they're poor. And I'm serious, because as a black person, I understand what it is to be poor. And what I've told people, poor is poor.
That's right.
It doesn't matter where you're located. Poor people understand poor stuff. When you start talking about water and ketchup bottles, when you start talking about the holes in your shoes,
you know about water and ketchup,
living from paycheck to paycheck and having to try to worry about those basic needs and stuff. And that's why I think that, honestly, there's got to be somebody in West Virginia who's tired of that shit.
Right.
Who could primary that dude.
Right. But the hold on that side is so strong. Like I don't think we're fanatics on our side. We could be, and we just don't see it. I don't think we're fanatical on this side. I think when Mario Cuomo messes up, we all kind of say, "You gotta go, bro. Sorry, we love you to death.
Yeah,
we love what you did during COVID.
Right.
I even mentioned your name in presidential circles, but you gotta go. You gotta go."
Yeah.
I think on the other side,
Brad, you're right.
And
We're
he
definitely
knew he
more
had to
critical
go.
of our
yeah,
own
I
people.
think on the other
We will
side,
be our own.
it's ridiculous. They will hold on to that young pedophile who was down in Alabama or wherever it was. They will hold on
Matt
to him
Gaetz?
out of principle.
No,
Out of principle.
He's talking about more.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Gates. Okay.
Was that? Yeah, which one was it? Was it
Doug's wrong
Mississippi,
guy.
Alabama?
Yeah, no, you're right. And I mean, yeah, Doug Jones barely won that race.
Right, Doug Jones, right.
Because they would still rather go for a party than somebody of principle.
Right.
But I mean, how long did Steve King last from Iowa in Congress? And he would talk about Mexicans coming across the border with calves the size of antelopes and stuff like that. And it wasn't until he kept talking about what's wrong with white nationalism till they finally got rid of him. And I'm like, okay, this is the worst kept secret. He's been a racist for how long?
Right.
And they let him sit in there.
Right.
So, but I agree with Brad is that, again, Manchin isn't going to be a reliable vote. So what other states can you go out there and get more senators from? Is Florida in play?
Right.
And you retain Georgia. You don't think Florida's in play, Jermaine? Because Rubio is. You don't think Val Demings can take Marco Rubio out?
No, because I watched a show not too long ago, and it was really on COVID and stuff. But it was, if you take it as a micro shot of a macro problem, is that there are a lot of people out there, especially in Florida and stuff, and especially in the Latino communities. So it was on Facebook and the disinformation from Facebook, and so Facebook says they do all this, cleaning up for disinformation. But what the study was talking about was, well, that's in English. In other languages and stuff,
right?
It's little to no kind of stuff, and so it's a lot of bad videos, fake news getting passed around in those communities and stuff. And for people who don't have English as a first, second, or third language, who are getting their information directly from those kind of sources and stuff, among other, family group chats from WhatsApp and stuff, or where they're getting their information stuff that tells them. That's why Joe Biden really didn't do well in Florida and stuff, is because just say, why do these Latinos vote against Biden? Because they equated the Biden-Harris administration to socialism. A lot of these people escape from socialist places. Another reason they keep drumming that up. And they're like, oh, if that's what they're about, then we're not going to be about that and stuff. We'd rather take this other deal over here because we've already escaped socialism. We know what that is. I'm not trying to be in a line for food. I'm not trying to fight nobody for a job, place to stay, that kind of stuff. And so there's a lot of misinformation that goes on in the communities and stuff. Unless you have a Spanish-speaking Democrat in those areas and stuff who can actually get his message out to the people, to all the people and stuff. And that's grassroots stuff, right? I mean, that's some real down grassroots. I just don't see it being in play right now without a lot of Stacey Abrams energy.
Yeah, let me put it to y'all like this. If I had a brown paper bag in front of you and it was sealed, and I had a Gucci bag in front of you, you're going to probably perceive that whatever is in that Gucci bag is better than what's in that brown bag.
Right. I mean, at face value.
Because what happens is that I could have $1 million in that brown paper bag, but because you see the Gucci bag, you're going to perceive that whatever's in that bag is probably going to be the best thing. If I say, hey, choose a bag, you take the Gucci bag. Now I could have $1 million in that brown bag and you'd never know it. Now, you know what I equate that to? Messaging. Democrats are brown paper bags. Republicans are Gucci bags. They will sit there and message something, even if there's nothing inside. As hollow as that message is, whether it's critical race theory, whether it's banning books, whether it's about all this stuff, they make it look good on the outside and people go, I'll have some of that. But the things that could really, really help you are in a brown paper bag because Democrats do not know how to sell a message. They have spent 6 months selling a 3-point-something trillion dollar package instead of going around touring and talking about what's in the damn thing.
Wait a minute. So are you trying to say the Republican health care plan was empty? You trying to say that was empty?
I'm saying that Trump had a whole lot of pages and when a damn thing wrote on them. I show him. But see, that's how he sold. But I equate that to Trump. It's all about packaging. I'm selling you a perception, but because I present it in such a way, I mean, the man had how many?
But wasn't that But was that not the main reason why he got the voters that he did from the Star guys?
Yes.
Do you remember? They didn't even. It was kind of like the same reason why the majority of black people voted for Obama. They didn't really care as to what his platform was, what he was talking about. They voted for him because he was black. They did the same thing with Trump. They looked at him as being, that's a celebrity. He knows how to market. He knows how to sell.
He's not a real politician.
And he's not black. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you add all those things, man, they didn't have to have a reason. They liked the package.
That was the reason he went black. Yeah, that was the reason.
That was the main reason.
I told a story last week about how I got elected in junior high to student council. I told you the story last week, right?
No.
And so the whole basis is that it's about entertainment. It's about moving people emotionally and stuff.
Yes.
When we talk about sales is emotional. It's not factual stuff. Whether I'm trying to sell you a house or trying to sell you a car and stuff, I'm not trying to sell you what you need. I'm trying to sell you what you want. I'm trying to, if you come to a open house that I'm hosting and stuff, your wife likes the house, you'll live wherever she tells you to live. I'm selling the house to her, and I'm going to sell her on the emotion of the house, of where she can see her grandkids coming to visit, of the parties that she can throw, of all the things that she can have, all these emotions. They got nothing to do with
your old silver tongue joker. Yeah.
Well, he said he was running for office, CJ. He getting started.
Yeah, I know. I hear
I can because I've been selling an undervalued product for an underperformed product for a long time with great success. That's how my wife got here.
Hey, there you go. You fooled her, didn't you?
I fooled her.
Yeah, I did the same thing, man. I tricked her. Baby, I'll give you the sun, the moon, the stars, and the mountains.
No, see, both of y'all went the wrong route. Y'all should have just did it old school way. Hey, woman, come here. Gotcha. Now you with me.
What?
That's see, y'all wasted too much time, too much energy. Come here. Boop. Come here. Now you with me.
That's assault, CJ.
Yeah,
hey, I mean, call it what you want. It worked. I'm effective.
I'm just in the fall.
Yeah. We kill them with love, CJ. Bro. You trying to choke somebody out.
Come here.
Somebody go give CJ a hug.
Yeah. The opinions expressed by CJ Jones do not represent Empower TV Network, Roku, or any of its affiliates.
Who you gonna love?
We're gonna put that out there before I get protested on. People gonna want to ban me and Dave Chappelle. Cancel him. See, Dave can afford to get canceled. I can't afford to get canceled.
Oh my gosh.
So speaking of getting canceled, y'all.
Yeah.
Oh God, here we go.
This Virginia race with Terry McAuliffe and Glenn Youngkin. Is coming down to the finish where it looks like McAuliffe is in a dead heat race, which it should not even be that way. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to keep it real. Terry McAuliffe, you're boring. So this is why you're fighting for trying to get get Democrats enthusiastic enough to come out and vote for you. And again, Youngkin is now really just trying to scare the hell out of parents to make them vote against him, even bringing up a 9-year-old story where a lady alleged that her son at the time, who was in high school and a senior, was being made to read a book called Beloved. If you're not familiar with the book, it is written by uh, Toni Morrison, and it is a great book, but it does center around slavery, and it does revolve around the story of a lady that and her family that escaped slavery in Kentucky and went to Ohio. U.S. Marshals come in or trying to get in, and they're barricaded. It's got some other little things in there too, some spiritual things and things like that. But it was revolved around a story where a lady actually ended up trying to kill her kids so that they would not get taken back into slavery. And she was actually successful at killing her daughter, but she was trying to take them all out so that they would not have to go through slavery again.
Yeah.
And the lady alleged in the ad that Youngkin ran that her son had night terrors and all kinds of things as a result of having to read this book.
In other words, he didn't trust his mama. All right. So they can miss me with all of that, because the only thing that I thought about whenever I was looking at the interview, because I did not read the book. I did not read the book, but I did watch the interview.
You ain't seen the movie?
No, I don't think I have. I don't think I have. I've watched a lot of movies, but it's okay, guys. It's all right.
It's
you was afraid I was going to ask for your black card, wasn't you? You said that real quick. You thought I was going to ask for that black card, didn't you?
Oh, bro, you can't get mine. Mine is solid.
Okay. Okay, we'll see about that.
But what it is it's the whole. It's just like how we use in like old school military, death before dishonor. You know, Japanese women would, like, if they countryside was getting raided and stuff, they would, you know, kill themselves or whatnot before they was going to let their bodies be ravaged. And that's throughout, I mean, history and cross cultures and everything. It was nothing that dark about that.
CJ, I think you're missing the point. It wasn't about the lady killing a kid.
No, no, and it hit so many other points.
It was about slavery. It was about slavery, about black people. And
I mean,
because here's the thing, CJ, if you make white kids read books about slavery, they've been led to believe that slaves were treated well. Well, if they were treated so well, why the hell did they run? Why did they have a fugitive?
Why would they want it right?
Why did they have a what they call it, the fugitive
slave act?
Slave act, where they could go back and go get them, the ones that ran and stuff.
Right.
If slaves are so you have to understand what's going on. You said earlier you would sit there as a parent and talk to your child about things that they read so that they would have guidance in it. They just wouldn't read it and then just be all confused. The problem is that parents don't want to talk about slavery because then they may have to admit that America is full of slaves.
But you're quick to talk about everything else, though. See, that's the part that kills me. You'll talk about these sexual exploitation of you know, people out here in media and stuff like that. People have no problem with PDA, no matter what pronoun you put in front of it, all that stuff. But when it comes to like just what we're talking about, you know, why is it so hard for us to get this lynching law taken care of? You know,
because laws are actually made to, and in this country, laws are made to make sure that the people that have power retain power. Not yet.
Oh, I thought you were about to jump on that one. Okay.
I mean, I could, but you know, it's just one of those. Just a simple answer is that that's what law. You know, the people in power make the laws. So when people talk about laws in this country and stuff, and go, well, that's the law. And I go, that's an arbitrary string of words that somebody put together to make sure.
In other words, they don't know what to say.
We're supposed to rest because slavery was a law, and you
right.
know what I mean. So there are a lot of things in this country that when people point to the law, I go, have you read some of the laws that are still active in states and stuff? They're asinine, they're outdated and stuff. When people say that's the law, but to the greater point of this whole story about CRT and people, they're drawing at straws, right? There's just one woman who had a son who was a punk, because when you're that old, you don't have night terrors. You might have a nightmare, but you don't have night terrors. That's what 5-year-olds have. 5-year-olds have night terrors and stuff. And if it must be nice to be in a position to outlaw your own history from being told correctly because you're so embarrassed of it. You know, these are the same people who will tell you that they don't want you taking down statues because history is history and it is what it is and you can't erase it and stuff. And they go, okay, well, let me tell you. No, I don't want to hear that. It's like, well,
right. Yeah, we got to ban that book. We got to ban that book. We got to ban that book, but leave our statues in place.
Yeah,
and know the Confederate flag is about pride, not prejudice.
Right. And never forget 9/11, but when it comes to that whole slavery era, Jim Crow and stuff, hey, look, let's forget about that. That was a long time ago. Can we just move on? Condoleezza Rice, I believe, said that she was just ready to just move on from all these COVID deaths. You know, all that death, that didn't take place. She's just ready to move on.
I'm actually with Auntie Condi on this, is that I want to move on too. But the way you move on in anything is addressing what happened and then moving on. You can't move on without doing that. And so that's the critical piece. They're right. Say, well, people are tired of this. Well, I'm tired of a lot of things. But until I address those things, I can't move on.
I'm tired of my issue. I'm tired of my issue not being solved. I'm tired of my. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just gonna say, and let's keep the record clear with that. There was an opportunity for Congress to make it less political by having an outside commission investigate January the 6th.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, the Republicans will say, well, Nancy Pelosi blocked the Republicans from being on the committee and everything else. But what they won't say is before that, it was you get this many people, we get this many people, they have subpoena powers, they go do their investigation. Well, what happened is that Orange Julia said, I don't want no investigation, and they said no to it. But it could have been taken out of the political spotlight. You wouldn't have, and you know, it's kind of funny, had they not done that, Liz Cheney would have still been in leadership in the Republican Party.
You know what I think about Democrats and think because they're playing a game with the rules that Republicans refuse to play by anymore. At some point, you got to understand what the rules are and just start doing when Democrats came in power, they should just say we're going to do all Democratic committee because we believe Republicans be traitors and stuff, and this is what it is. And they should have packaged it and drove it that way, and Republicans and put them on their heels to defend themselves of, well, why did Democrats do this? And they could just leak information because who cares how they leak it? You know, hey, this is going on. We found these emails. There's these things. The guy stayed at this hotel. They were planning for this, this, and this, and this. And just laid it all out and stuff. Once the Democrats realize that there is no such thing as McConnell and his guys working with them, once you understand that, I think you can move forward.
I think they do understand it, but for some reason, no, I really do. I really do. They know what they're doing, and they still try to choose this whole high ground BS, and it kills them. It kills them every time.
If you're doing something knowing that the end result is not going to get you what you're looking for, you're an idiot.
Yeah, why
waste your time doing something that you know that it's not even a possibility? You just know damn well sure it ain't going to happen that way. Now, I know a lot of the things that most of the Democrats did was they went along with because they're trying to get Joe Manchin to see, Joe, it doesn't matter if it was the John Lewis Voting Act, if it was something that you scaled down and you're talking about you're going to be able to find 10 of your Republican friends to vote for it. How did that work out? Now, a lot of us, hey, Kenny, a lot of us could have told you before you even went to that length what the result was going to be. And Joe Manchin can't be that stupid to believe that he literally had to rewrite the Voting Rights Act thinking that he could make it palatable enough for 10 Republicans to jump on it and then be surprised when the vote's taken that no Republicans voted for it, not one. Nobody can be that stupid.
Oh, he's not
even
stupid.
If it's West Virginia.
He's not stupid. I
He
mean,
ain't stupid at all.
he knew going
He
into.
just trying to run out the clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. And that's why I say that's the reason that Democrats have to move forward with their agendas the same way Republicans did, without asking, without kowtowing, with nothing. So that's just not how government works. In terms of people think, well, everybody has to agree. No, everybody doesn't have to agree. The majority gets to say. The minority, is just out in the cold, because that's what happened when the Republicans were in power. All the Democrats sat around waiting for Republicans to call, and that phone never rang. Now they get in power and they keep calling and stuff. Oh yeah, we're gonna come over. We'll be right there. And like my brother said, all they're doing is running out the clock.
All right,
I just to go back right quick, we could have used that as an opportunity, but we're so shallow in everything that we do. I think it's painful because I didn't hear about the controversy until yesterday with Beloved, and it still remains for me. It kind of changed my life a little bit. That book was so powerful. Like the autobiography of Malcolm X and Beloved. There are certain things that have that kind of deep impact, and to hear that they're attacking Beloved, it's just absolute joke. And it just shows you how shallow we are. Well, we don't want to talk about anything. We certainly don't want to talk to each other. We want to stay in our camps and talk about what the other side is doing that makes us uncomfortable.
And Brad, I agree with you. I think that's all it really is that you don't have any policy issues to talk about.
Right.
So you start throwing it's that spaghetti on the wall kind of thing. You just throwing anything against the wall to see what's going to stick, because you don't have a policy thing. Now, I'm going to say I absolutely hate the way that Terry McAuliffe has run his election, for the simple fact that he's doing what I criticized Donald Trump of doing, punching down. Why are you running against Donald Trump? Why are you so much trying to link Glenn Youngkin to Donald Trump? Even if he is, you're running against Youngkin. This was the same criticism I had of Trump when he's running against Joe Biden, but he kept wanting to bring up Crooked Hillary.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, dude, look at their opponent. If I'm in a boxing match and I'm boxing Jermaine, but all I'm wanting to do is talk about my last fight with Brad, I'm going to get knocked out.
Right.
Because I'm not focused on my opponent.
You're going to get knocked out either way.
I knew you were going to say that. That's why I brought it up. I knew you were going to say that. I'm undefeated, to keep it real, even though I retired when I realized Jermaine grew up to 6'2". I retired. But until that point, I was undefeated. Yeah, TKOs, baby. He ain't gonna admit it, but yeah, I used to lay Jermaine out. I used to tell him when it was time to go to sleep. I just knock him out.
Brian, I would stop now. His face changed.
No,
sir, his left eye jumped a little, Brian. I would move on to something else.
Brad, I want to let him live.
Hey, Brad, I thought the screen froze because I didn't see his face change. I was like, is his internet okay?
It was a cold, man. It got real cold.
Oh God! Oh, it got real quiet. They like,
all I will say is that I'm offering rematches.
No, I'm good. Oh, your mama says I'm listening. So I guess I can't bring up. Well, look. I done laid him out too many times now, Moms. Ain't nothing you can really do about it. So, I got him. Yeah, I did it. It wasn't him. It was me. Okay, anyway. Lastly, y'all, before we get out of here, the Kyle Rittenhouse trial is about to start up. And the judge in this case did something that was just so heinous, but not totally unexpected. He basically sat there and told the prosecution that they could not refer to the two people that he crossed state lines illegally with a gun and killed at a Black Lives Matter protest. They could not call the two dead people victims. But what they could call them were rioters, looters, and arsonists. And if they chose
because clearly he had proof of that.
Right. So clearly the judge, Judge Bruce Schroeder, laid out those ground rules that the prosecution could demonize the dead people as
They
the
can't defend
looters, the
themselves.
rioters, and arsonists, but not victims. Now, I know there's nobody's going to sit there and make me think that there ever was fairness in the criminal justice system. But how crazy is it for a judge to basically put his thumb on the scales and go to that extreme? And I mean, he might as well just basically say not guilty. Just go ahead and let him go, because he's already putting his thumb on the scales and crafting and framing Rittenhouse versus the two people that can't speak for themselves anymore because he took their lives in an effort to protect property.
So,
okay,
it's an emotional piece. I mean, okay, he's getting ready to jump in.
No,
all
no,
right,
no,
all right.
ahead,
No. I'm just saying it's like that's my first reaction. My guttural reaction was that judge needs to be snatched. You know what I mean? Like, let's not have this little cute little debate about what is and what isn't and what you can get away. No, he needs to be snatched.
Yes.
You don't say something like that in a. Come on, man. I mean, as an attorney, would the attorney continue to use it until he's thrown out? Held in contempt and thrown out? Yeah.
I'm not a legal person, but I'm sitting there going, ain't that a damn mistrial already?
Every single time I would refer to them as the victim. Every single time. Every single time.
He would have to just flat out sanction me.
Especially when the jury is here. Absolutely.
He would definitely have to sanction me, and I would have to be snatched off the case. Because every time I get a chance to,
how do you put your thumb on it and tell the defense how to push their case?
Exactly.
How do you do that? That's like me giving somebody legal advice, and I'm not a lawyer. You're not supposed to do that.
I have a question.
Here we go.
Go
ahead, Jay.
Why the hell are y'all so surprised by this? We just talked about image.
No, I'm disgusted, but I'm not surprised.
The justice system, that little white girl that they whistled at, supposedly, she never got charged for that stuff. The people that killed him didn't get in trouble and stuff. I'm telling you that this is our legal system. I know we're tempted to go, but it's 2021. I know. Y'all had a black president. You got a black VP, kind of. I understand how y'all might feel like we have progressed past that point. We are also talking in the show where they don't want to talk about the actual history. Why? Because stuff like this, any black man that grew up in the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s in the South and stuff will tell you this is exactly how judges talk. This is exactly how the legal system works. And in fact, the fact that the whole case wasn't thrown out immediately right after and stuff shows that we have made some progress. But that's really the point, is that we have not come as far as people want us to come. We're just not there. And this judge is just a regular judge. A lot of people who are professional and stuff go, well, no, I'm not a judge like that. Yeah, but your system's like that. And the system has worked that way against brown and black people, making sure that no matter what side they were on, where they were accused and then falsely accused, or where they were victims and then made out to be villains, it doesn't matter. That's how our legal system works. I wasn't surprised that the judge said this. It's sort of like we've been saying for years, is that like police violence, it hasn't been getting more violent. It's just been reported more. The only thing about it is because we're not inside every courtroom across the country. Stuff like this happens all the time. Whether it be a simple assault and battery case, whether it be a capital murder trial, whether it be somebody doing child support, judges have a lot of power. And they say all kinds of things because they're judges and they can say whatever they want in their courtrooms and stuff. And so this isn't new. Is it disappointing? Sure, it's disappointing. But let's be real. This happens every day.
It is. Yeah. It does.
Yeah, but you know what? But it's like you wouldn't sit there. Okay. If you're a New England Patriots fan, I'm sorry, I'm about to say this, but there's a lot of people that believe that any team that goes and plays the Patriots, you're not just playing the Patriots, but you're playing the referees. It just kind of thought that if Bill Belichick and Tom Brady was out there, you're not just playing 53 but you're also playing 53 and the whole officiating staff. It's
Right.
another thing when you're in the court of law to think, okay, I got to go against the damn defense, but the judge is also on that side too. So you got to go against the defense and the ref because the ref has
Right.
already basically told you that I agree with the damn defense.
Yes.
Right.
What you?
And
Why,
and,
I'm
and
sorry,
everybody
are you
know
shocked
what
by
the
that?
defense
No,
is going to do.
I'm not surprised. No. Don't take my outrage for surprise.
Oh.
I'm more outraged because it continues to happen, and I do understand 2021 is just a year. It doesn't mean it changes any mindsets, but the whole point is that we should all be outraged by it because this cannot continue to stand. We cannot
Right.
continue to sit there and let judges. It's funny how Republicans talk about they don't want activist judges in the Supreme Court to be activists on the bench. Well, who is this MF?
Well, so how do you get there? And so why I bring that up is because next week, so if you watch this show in real time, next week you have a chance to do some voting stuff.
Absolutely.
Judges
Right.
and DAs come up on the ballot and stuff, and there are judges out there who are not worthy of re-election and stuff. And we also have to support our black lawyers and stuff who want to become judges when they run. So, everything here on this show, we always say, you have to have a call to action for your show, whether it be people commenting or stuff like that. I think our call to action is consistently being go vote, because all this stuff that we talk about, it may be outrageous, it may anger us and stuff, but there are real-time solutions to this. And the first real-time solution is to vote. The better solution is to make sure that we organize and vote. And so we're not just shotgunning and scattershotting out our votes and stuff, and maybe we hit our target, we don't hit our target. We need to bring our votes together. We need to harness them together and sharpen them and make sure we're hitting our target dead on with as much impact as we can. And again, hey, somebody hollered at me, we can start this black political caucus in Charlotte and stuff, and we can start electing our own black candidates and stuff, who again have our issues at the forethought and not as an afterthought for when they govern.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, y'all. Final thoughts on any of this stuff? Y'all take it away.
I think justice is going to prevail in this case. I think it will.
I'm gonna trust you because you said that about George Floyd, and you said that about George Floyd, and I was like, I think you might be smoking something, but you were actually right. So
no, I think it will, because this judge he's rogue. He's rogue, and he needs to be. I don't know what's going to happen to the judge, but I think in the case,
yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, Brad, it's crazy. I agree with you on that, because I don't know how you can justify what he did. I mean, what he did was illegal to begin with. He crossed state lines underage with an AR-15 style rifle. All of that by itself was illegal. Anything that you did after that, you did it because you were doing something illegal.
Right.
So I don't know how they're going to get out of that, but
okay.
We'll see.
All right. So my final thought on that is, guys, on the prosecution side, I do have I'm going to agree with Brad here and put my faith in them being able to overcome this hurdle that the judge has put out there. I believe that we have the smarts to do so. It's not. It's going to be an uphill battle. I know it's not going to be an open and close type thing, because the only thing that the defendant has to do, Rittenhouse, is just to deflect, deny, and put his hands up. And we all know his defense is going to be self-defense. They've already been priming him. They've already been working with him and everything else. But to what you said, Brian, what they're going to have to say is, how can you sit up here and say that you feared for your life when you crossed a state line? You're underage. You have a semi-automatic rifle in hand. And even if someone did deputize you from the point to where someone's video had picked up on you, you shot somebody, realized somebody saw you shoot somebody, and you ran. By the time those 3 people got to you, then yeah, you would be shooting for your life. But you came looking for the trouble.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's not going to fly. And with that, I'm done.
Okay. All right, Lori.
You, Jermaine, and yourself already took mine. As I said, I've a reminder to you to make sure that we go to vote. We have early voting that's starting, and I did remind you about that as well. Actually, here in Cabarrus County, there is a Black woman that's running for Concord for in the city government. So go Betty. So make sure that you go out and vote. Look at the candidates and the list of candidates that is voting in your county, and please vote because you need to get these crazy people out of here.
There you go. JP.
Yeah. So my final thoughts of this is that everybody stay focused. Try to look past the distractions, whether it be people talking about CRT, whether it be people outraged about the curriculum assault in classrooms, whether we can address people as victims or looters and stuff. It's all distraction type stuff. To my beautiful sister-in-law's point, get organized, go vote, make your voice be heard and stuff. Again, final thoughts, don't despair. I mean, all this stuff is fixable. It really is. I really do. If I truly didn't believe that, I have the means to leave and go to another country and never come back. And I'm telling you, there's some pretty good ones out there. America boasts to be the best out there, but I've been to some really nice places, and they don't have all these issues. They just have different issues. So with that being said, we can get our house in order. We can turn this thing around.
Hey, Mona. I said, hey, Mona. And I really do like the people of West Virginia because poor talk is the same talk no matter where you are. So y'all primary that man, whether it be a Republican or Democrat, there's somebody on a moderate scale who can actually deliver for the people of West Virginia, and I just believe that. Totally agree. And just my final thought, again, go vote. Make sure that you understand that changes in every 4 years, changes as often as you need to. Make sure that the people that are supposed to work for us and listen to us, when they stop listening, you make sure that they understand that, hey, if you didn't hear me now, you will hear me on election day. Mm-hmm. The only person that can be, only way you can be silenced is when you sit on your hands, you don't vote, but all you want to do is complain. The change happens one vote at a time. Make sure that you protect the vote. People are trying to take it away, and too many people have bled and have died for your right to vote. Do not take that for granted. Until next time, y'all, I'd like to thank my panel, Lori Parker, CJ Jones, Brad Cawthon, Jermaine, the franchise Parker. Appreciate y'all. We'll see y'all again next week. Same station, same time. Peace.
This a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it.
And this a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma. Gotta get it. Comma and a comma. Gotta get it.